Welcome back, Bulls fans. We have a 2-for-1 deal today. Another hire. Assistant GM of the Orlando Magic, Stephen Mervis, has been hired to be the Vice President of Basketball Operations. Now, this would put him one rung below Bryson, kind of keep him in check, kind of bounce ideas off of each other. Now, I'm going to tell you some strengths, some weaknesses, give my personal take on it. But before we get too into that, I want to know again what your gut reaction to this was. How happy were you seeing that we signed Stephen Mervis? Comment very or not at all down below. Now, for his strengths, I want to highlight a tweet that I saw from Steph No from the Sporting News. He said he asked around about Mervis and he heard that he's extremely smart, strong in trade negotiations and overall general strategy. He's well connected with other execs around the league, and in his opinion, it's seemingly a great hire for us. And that makes me feel pretty good. Steph is a pretty respected writer throughout the league. I use his tweets to learn stuff all the time. So I'm familiar with him. I trust him. I if he's saying it's a great hire, I don't have too many reasons to say it's not. But if we're talking it, let's look at the strengths that he mentioned. Smart, well connected, good with trades. The good with trades is the main one that I want to highlight. Unfortunately, we had the butt end of the trade, but he has been with the Magic for the past 12 years, so he did help orchestrate the Vucevic deal. In my opinion, not a great deal for us, but great deal for him because Wendell Carter has been a mainstay for them. They used that pick that we gave them to get Franz Wagner, who's been integral to their success the past few years. So I do think his strengths are definitely his trades and his brain. Definitely been smart with it. Well connected, makes me feel good because if GMs are willing to talk to him, that's half the battle. If you can get a GM to talk with you, you're most likely going to be able to get at least some sort of deal on the table. And if he's well connected with everyone, obviously they're not just going to hang up the phone on him. They're willing to hear him out. And that, like I said, that's the first step to everything. Now, as I said earlier today with Acie Law, strengths always come with weaknesses. The biggest one being the Magic not really having true playoff success recently. Now, they've been in the play-in a bunch. They've been the 7 or 8 seed a bunch. And they haven't really done much with it. Not really. They've kind of been bounced in the first round every year. They they honestly remind me of us during the Levine DeRozan era after Lonzo got hurt, right before we blew it up. Just kind of perennial play-in team, perennial low seed playoff team. Doesn't really make it out of the first round. And he was the assistant, so I don't want to say it was completely his fault, but he was still in house for it. So he definitely deserves some of the blame. The assistant obviously doesn't get final say, but the assistant does play a role in everything more often than not. Some organizations don't let the assistant GM have any say, but another thing is their rosters have been constructed very weird. Now, until that Bane trade, which I still don't understand how they pulled that off, that adds to his strength of good trading. But before that, they didn't really have a well constructed team around Paolo. They didn't really have shooters around him. The defense was good, but they didn't really have shooters to minimize Paolo's weakness of 3-point shooting because he's really not that great of a 3-point shooter. So they needed shooters around him to make sure that Franz isn't the best shooter, but Franz is Franz, so you can't really blame them. He's helping the offense. But they brought in Pope, wasn't that good a shooter with them. They've had other shooters that just really didn't do the job. and that's why they had to go make the Bane trade. But I mean, just overall, decently constructed teams. I don't want to say the Magic have been poorly constructed, but definitely some room to improve in his roster construction. Definitely some room to improve on just overall building a team and building a playoff team. So, definitely some weaknesses. Don't want to harp on him too much for that not being the lead GM, but if you're in-house, if you're the assistant GM, you deserve a little bit of the blame because you're still making some decisions. You're just not signing off on them. Now, before I give my personal take, I want to know, are you liking this front office that Bryson is building so far? If you are, make sure you hit that like and hype button down below. Now, my take, it's okay. I don't think anything too much of it. Like with Acie Law, I knew who Acie Law was beforehand. I knew he played in the NBA. I knew he played overseas. I knew he was a star in high school and college. I knew that he was with OKC. I don't really know much about Mervis. And I know that's partially to my credit. I should know, but I mean, I'm going to look more into him, but my gut reaction is just kind of okay. I kind of see this the same way that I saw the draft for the Bears last year. I didn't know much about Colston Loveland, and I was kind of like, what are we doing with this pick? But I took a step back and I said, you know what? Ben Johnson is the guy they trusted. Ben Johnson's the guy who's running the show. He's the new coach. He wants his guys in the roster. Who am I to say, no, this is a bad pick? I'm just going to sit here and trust Ben. I'm doing the same thing with Bryson. He's saying all the right things in interviews. I'm loving what he's saying. He has a good track record. I mean, you don't rise up from front office intern to vice president or to president of basketball operations this quickly without knowing what you're doing. So, just like Ben, just take a step back. You take a step back here. Trust Bryson. He knows what he's doing. We hired him for a reason. I'm going to let him bring in the guys he thinks works for this front office, and we're just going to see how that works. And all I'll say is I trusted Ben Johnson, and look at how the Bears did last year. I'm trusting Bryson Graham. Hopefully the Bulls start showing some improvement. But overall, not overly thrilled, but I'm also not overly upset about it. I'm kind of just like, okay, cool. A guy that knows what he's doing. But time will tell on how good this will be. And I have faith that Bryson will bring in the right guys and we won't have to worry about it. Now, please share and subscribe. We're trying to reach 1,900 subscribers. We're roughly 70 away. So every subscriber matters. Thank you for joining me today. Make sure you like, subscribe. My co-host Jordan and I are putting out a ton of Bulls content lately. GM scouting, head coach scouting, player scouting. I don't want you to miss any of it. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any of it. With that being said, have a great day and see Red Bulls Nation.